Yo, this is Peterman's Bridge, and today I'm going to explain where I've been, why I didn't upload for 4 weeks over the Christmas holidays, and yeah, that's about it. Listen, I was playing Minecraft the other day for about an hour, recorded myself talking about this whole thing, went to upload it, realized I wasn't recording. And that's the first time that that's ever happened, but I'll make a video right now explaining what I explained in that video. So basically, I stopped watching the news for a bit there, guys, because it's stressful. The news, it sucks watching the news. So there was a smart man, I believe it was a man, I can't even remember who it was. I don't remember where I heard this. I just held on to it. He said you don't have to follow the day-to-day news, the week-to-week news. If you know your history, if you read your history books. More importantly, I'm not the smartest guy. If you follow people who you know understand history and you know they're being objective and they're trying to get to the truth, If you understand that, you don't necessarily need to watch the day-to-day headlines, which is kind of beneficial because they're stressful. Recently I heard this other guy say, and I held on to this one, was if you watch the headlines, he's saying, without even reading the articles, it obviously gives you a good sense of the direction the media is going, what they're saying, what they're not saying, the topics that keep coming up, the topics that get dropped. Even subconsciously, you're just going to start recognizing patterns. So he's like, you can get a really good idea following the headlines. Now, that being said, I'm going to peel back the curtain a little bit here. I'm watching all the mainstream legacy news, and I'm reading the articles. I'm saving the good articles for the topics that I'm researching, for the videos that are upcoming. And in Canada, I'm watching CBC, CTV News, Global News, the Globe and Mail, Toronto Star. In America, it's New York Times, New York Post, the Washington Post. And in the UK, it's the Daily Mail and the Guardian. And it's too much. The news is crazy. This is why I didn't watch the news for the longest time, right? This is why most people don't watch the news. It's like, it's insane. So I was thinking, December was going to be chill. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, we're just going to be chilling. And no, all this crazy stuff came out. So I'm going to go over it just one by one real quick, bullet point style here, of the news articles that came out that was overwhelming your boy, Markcraft86. I had to take a little break, okay? But like Rob Reiner and his wife get like killed by his son. And it's like, holy. And then right when I heard that news, I heard the news about like the tweet that Donald Trump said, like his comments on it. And I'm actually going to read them right now. I think this was the day after, And he said, a very sad thing happened. Yeah, a very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling, but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away, together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump Derangement Syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before, may Rob and Michelle rest in peace. And it's like, man, just when you think kind of Donald Trump couldn't be more disgusting, more egotistical, more insensitive, more petty. The man dies, and I guess he was really hardcore against Trump, talking crap on him all the time. He had TDS, I guess, but I don't like where this is going, where Charlie Kirk dies, and then the one side cheers it, and then even this poor lady who dies by the ICE agents, and then you kind of have people on the right, or crazy people on the right, being like, I actually haven't seen it firsthand. Like I said, I'm staying off online. I'm just hearing from other people, like on podcasts and stuff, that people are kind of celebrating it a little bit, and it's like, that's disgusting. And Trump celebrating this guy being stabbed with his wife by his son, who's got like crazy problems, is disgusting. And it's not that one story, it was all the stories, because like right around then the Sydney shooting happened, where all those poor people died in Australia on the beach. And that day, or probably the next day, it's just every single side comes out and tries to use the crisis to further their political agenda. So the Bibi Netanyahu will come out and say, you guys have been festering anti-Semitism, been letting it go, and now look what happened. It manifests into violence. This is the blood's on your hands kind of thing. And then they would push to get more strict hate law speech passed, like for instance what's going on in Canada. The one guy who's going to jail for downplaying or denying the Holocaust or something like that. Just this weekend in Florida, this lady retweeted a tweet that was criticizing the mayor or something, and then cops showed up at the house trying to like, yo, you tweet this? And in the UK, they're throwing them in jail left, right, and center for tweeting things online. So yeah, it ain't going very good. But they're going to use that Sydney shooting as like, you got to crack down on the anti-Semitism, the online hate, and then they also use it as, other people are going to use it as, see, we have to take all the guns. Pretty sure that shooting was done with like guns where it's like single action. You got to like reload after every shot, maybe, right? So for them to kill that many people with those kind of guns too, and it's like, they had military training. But anyway, we're not getting into the detailed nitty-gritties of all this stuff. People are going to come out, try to use it for their gun control, right? Just like they're going to come out, use it for the hate speech, right? Just like people would come out and use it for, see, look, you can't have unchecked immigration, because when you do, you let in all these people, and then some of them might be terrorists, and then look, they committed a terror attack on the beach of Australia. So every side's going to use it. I find that disgusting, just as disgusting as Donald Trump making those statements about that guy. And then the Brown University shooting happened, where those students were shot at or whatever, about that guy, and they couldn't get the footage, and then there was some weird stuff about the reporting. And then they're like, it wasn't linked to the guy who died at MIT, professor or whatever, in Pennsylvania or Massachusetts or whatever. And they're like, oh wait, it was linked, so he killed him in wherever, and then he drove over there and killed that guy. And that guy was working on some shit or something. It's like, I haven't looked into it. I'm off this stuff, guys, right now. I'm taking a little break. But, so it's like that come out and it's like, okay. And then right when they say the COVID shot's going to be, get the black box label. So after the years of safe and effective, now it's like, well, actually, we're going to give it the most serious warning you can. The black box label, like, because it, includes death too, right? So, just, And they didn't say they were going to do that 100%. They just kind of were throwing that out there a little bit, right? And then it's at the same time when I was just after doing that research of the cancer's going nuts in the ultra-processed foods and it being linked to the ultra-processed foods. And guys, I was researching the healthcare in Canada. I don't know if you've been hearing the stories about the people dying in the ERs. I was looking up that stuff. I find out there's like late term abortions going on in Canada because Canada does not have any laws. Yeah, I think I remember reading that. They don't have any laws against abortion, really. It's totally open. So, There was a woman who went into a clinic she was like in her third trimester, and they were like, yeah, you can go down the street, get this done, and you don't even have to be, no health risk to the mother. So I'm looking up the healthcare in Canada. The MAID numbers are off the charts. Some guy in his 20s who suffers from depression got approved for MAID, and like, when the people start talking about opening it up to minors for like mental illness and possibly even throw out maybe they won't need parental consent, it's like, don't even talk about it. But it'll go there too. Okay, so I got all this on my mind. I'm looking at researching that and researching this. And then, I don't know, Mario for the North on Instagram. He drops this like documentary in his little Instagram thing, and I watched a documentary on it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours, I don't know, an hour and a half, on how the truth and reconciliation is basically a bunch of bullshit. As much as it pains me to say. And you know, I was on this channel earlier telling you guys, because when I was in college, I had a Native woman come into the classroom and explain to us that, you know, the white people took the natives and brainwashed them to be white and kidnapped them, and there was all this abuse, and this is why they're messed up on alcohol and drugs and everything. And the truth's got to be somewhere in the middle. But I'm watching this documentary, and there were no mass graves. They didn't find any mass graves. They didn't find one grave. All these names of the children, where are they? I don't understand. The money that's been handed out to people, it's like if you're kind of native, you just have to fill out the application. If you watch a documentary, it's pretty clear. They're like, okay, this guy in this town kind of fills it out this way, and then like all his brothers do, all his cousins do. It's like, it was kind of like when COVID was happening, and they're like, yo, we're gonna pay you to stay home. So everyone applied. I didn't. But I heard of a lot of people who applied. There was a lot of fraud with that too, right? So it's like everyone just starts applying and get the free money. So there's a bunch of made up stories and everything, and then there are no mass graves. The ground penetrating radar didn't really work for that. You didn't find mass graves. They were speculating on what it was. And then this guy, I think I have his name written down. Chief Terry Teague. Chief Terry Teague. The Assembly of First Nations BC Regional Chief, Terry Teague. What an idiot. And he just like kind of throws out there, all these people are corrupt. I don't care what race they are. I don't care what color skin they are. I don't give a shit. All these humans who are on these like TV shows, man, in these or not the TV, or this guy's on the CBC, right, with all the politicians making all the decisions. All those guys, man, they're either like dumb and controlled. Well, that's pretty much what it is. They're all puppets and pawns, but you know, they get tossed enough money to kind of keep the agenda going, right? And then this guy, and then there's a bunch of people just go in for themselves. And then why wouldn't this guy take advantage? Anyway, he suggests that there's no bodies because there's like ovens. So you're a Canadian, and you should feel bad because your ancestors, they're kind of like Nazis. And they took there's no mass graves because they took the babies and put them in the ovens. That's like what he suggested on the CBC. And that's like what, I can't help but think that's like what the average white Canadian brainwash thinks is like, I should be ashamed because white people did slavery. I should be ashamed because the white people in Canada stole this land from the Native Americans and brainwashed them to be white and kidnapped them and did all this abuse and put them in the ovens like we're Nazis or something. When in actuality, kind of, the white people was bringing law and order. The Native Americans wanted to live by the white people because it was kind of giving law and order. The way of life was going downhill because the bison herds were, you know, going down. They're like, we should send them to the white people. They'll learn a little math, learn a little science, learn a little this and that. They can, learn their way of life so they can help us. We can take advantage of this, right? So if you had a school, Native Americans around would go to the school, and they wanted to send their kids to the school so bad, if they were far away, they'd send the kids there. Okay, so it's got to be somewhere in the middle of like all these people with the sad story all the time of like total victimization, and like the white Canadians are like we're the colonizers and the brutes who came over here and stole this shit. And then like, oh, the white people are the saviors and you guys wanted to live by us and we brought law and order and a new way of life, and yeah, things were not perfect and we got into fights and diseases spread and this and that, right? But was Canada great? Because I'm starting to think Canada was great. It's going downhill. It's been going downhill a long time. And it's kind of a division distraction to have like land acknowledgements and we're going to give the land back to the Native Americans and like we need to feel bad about that stuff. That's like separate us clearly. So I'm going to start doing real land acknowledgements on this channel where I'm shouting out the old prime ministers of Canada. I got them all written down right here. You're going to start with Sir John A. Macdonald. Shout out to Sir John A. Macdonald. I wouldn't be here without him. You guys wouldn't be here without him. First Prime Minister of Canada from July 1st, 1867 to November 5th, 1873. Rest in peace. Thank you for your service, Sir John A. Macdonald. All the people who took his statues down and defamed his statue. You know what I mean? It's like you guys jumped the gun on that. But we've been brainwashed, you know? It's like the television programs you, okay? They take the ladies out the house. The ladies used to raise you up as kids. You take the ladies out the house, now they get that tax too. Now what are you being raised by? The school. What are you being raised by? You go home from school, you flick the TV on right away. You're being raised by the state, man. The schools and the TV, man. And it's just everything's like subtly enforced by your teachers and society, and like there's subtle pressures to not deviate from the narrative, the script that they give you, and the media's telling you the truth. And it's come out as common knowledge that all the people back in the day, all the people your parents listened to, like in America, legit from the CIA, like legit on the payroll, intelligence agency officers giving the news, like that Harry Walter Cronkite or whatever the hell his name is. Alright, I'm Canadian, I don't know, I'm Peter Mansbridge, okay? Like Walter, whatever the hell his name is. Okay, so all this is going on, and then Mark Carney makes Mark Wiseman the ambassador to the U.S., and that's the guy who wants 100 million immigrants in Canada. He wants Canada's population to be 100 million by 2100, and now he's part of the government. So it's like all these guys are pawns. They're being used, they're being played, they're in it for themselves. A lot of them, there's some teams, there's some not teams, there's some secret shit going on. I'm pretty sure there's some secret shit going on. Guess what, guys? I spend no time looking into any of that. Okay? I can just look at the food, the shelter, the water, the way the media is trying to push me a certain way. Something's not right. They want me a certain way. I simply just go the other way. So it's like I was getting fat, I was getting lazy, I was getting your average person, and then I had to recognize like they want me inflamed, they want me eating too much food, they want me lazy, they'd like me to not read books and watch too much TV and just like stay in my lane of sports and like mindless entertainment consumption, brain rot. They love it, right? They want me addicted to all this shit, right? So it's like, Mark Kraft 86, you gotta flip it the other way. You gotta get fit, you gotta get a strong mind, you gotta work on your relationships, man. You gotta have healthy connections. You gotta be a good person, you know. You gotta do all that stuff. De-stress, and the news is stressful. Following this stuff is stressful. Even when you're just dealing with reality, with what's in front of you, meaning you're not on any crazy websites. You're not on the dark web. You're not watching conspiracy theorists. You're literally watching mainstream legacy news gaslight you. Because I paid attention a little bit. I had an English media course in high school, And like 9/11 woke me up, and I started watching a couple documentaries that opened the mind up. And then from there, it's just, you know, you live, you learn. The floodgates open, but they're doing it out in the open now. It is out in the open now. They're not even, no one even hides how they're buying the media, how they influence the media, how they gave this person $200. Like, they don't even hide. They joke about it. They laugh about it. I can't believe Mark Carney's like, da 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 da, do 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 do, this and that, the new world order. And then the guy beside him's like, what? The what? It's like, yeah, he said it. He's like laughing at you, you know? It's like, if 10 years ago someone told you, yo, guys, the new world order is, what? The new who? Are you talking about Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, and they powerbombed that guy through the announce table and then spray painted the World Heavyweight Championship with their symbol? Yeah, that's who I'm talking about. Yeah, Hulk Hogan. Yeah. No, guys, I'm talking about, yeah, so it's like Mark Carney, the World Economic Forum. I haven't even looked in. I'm out, guys. I'm out. I'm out of the news game right now, okay? And then, so they make Mark Wiseman the little ambassador to the U.S. and like, and then Erika Kirk's going on her little media tour, man. And I just couldn't handle all of it at once. I pretty much just needed it all to stop. That's it. Just stop. Like the news, just like quit it. And Erika, like, shut up. Because it's like, no one buys it. Or I don't know who buys it, but actually, I don't think enough people are paying attention. My faith in humanity is pretty shot. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think Canadians are going to be turning this around. I think Canadians are too passive. I don't think we're organized enough. I don't think we want it. I don't think we're hungry enough. I don't think we've had to fight for anything in our lives. Everything's just been handed to us. And now our country is slipping away before our eyes, and we just let it happen, and we make excuses. And I think most people are going to ostrich it in the sand. And, you know, going to get cold. You're going to get cold, man. Mark Carney's going to be coming in and taking care of all you guys sticking the head in the sand. You're not even going to see it coming, so. Anyway, all this happens and it's like, Erika Kirk, just stop it. No one buys it. Okay? And I guess I got to give some specifics. I can't just say no one buys it. It's like, she's acting. She's lying. She's not convincing. She's not that articulate. She's not that smart. She's not that interesting. It's like, you can tell they lean on the scriptures and lean on the Bible. They're trying to like alpha up on you. They're trying to like be the authority figure or something. You can just smell it on them. They want to be famous. They want to be celebrities. Charlie Kirk gets killed and then they just want to move the company to like, yeah, we're pro-Israel and like, yeah, come on, Ben Shapiro. And I'm not, you know, who knows, he's a federal agent or whatever, like Tucker Carlson. Who knows? His family was apparently had connections to the CIA or whatever. But they didn't like that he was speaking there. They didn't like that Dave Smith was speaking there. And who was the other one? Oh, and that he was going to invite Candace Owens or whatever. Turning Point USA had their little Amfest, and they had the tent, a recreation of the tent, or the tent. I couldn't imagine it'd be the tent. Could have been. Of where Charlie got shot, and had a ring light set up so people could take selfies. Okay? They're not acting like they didn't know he was going to get shot. And you guys aren't that good of like actors and actresses, so when things happen and the cops have no idea what happens, they show up and they're like, what happened? And then things just check out. like Dylan Roof, gets radicalized online, hates black people, gets radicalized and maybe even talked into committing violence against black people in an act of revenge because he's racist. And he goes to a church and he kills a bunch of people, 17 people. And he leaves the church. He half expects cops to be waiting outside for him because he fired like 70 plus bullets. You know, thinking like GTA, he's going to have 4 stars on him, right? He goes out, there's no cops. He gets in his car, he drives around, he goes to like the next city. The survivors report he looks like this. They figure out, okay, it's probably this guy. They talk to his parents, they're like, yeah, he's missing. I'm worried about him being violent. They find him. They arrest him. They interview him. And ultimately, there's like a kind of a famous quote that he says because it's like used at some of the intros of these like true crime documentaries. And he's like, oh, I had to do it because somebody had to do something. Right? Kind of like James Holmes. They just straight up admit it or whatever. But it's like, okay, and then it all makes sense. And then they get a hold of his hard drive and they're like, yeah, look, he was radicalized here. You know, it all makes sense. And then no one has to lie. The cops don't have to cover it up. No one has to act and pretend. And then when the Las Vegas shooting happens, and they say it's one guy leaning out the window at the Mandalay Bay, and then you find out there's no way it could have been, and people were reporting about helicopters shooting guns, and people got like headshots parallel on the ground of the concert. So that's not coming from the window. That's coming from people straight on. There was 911 calls all up and down the strip. There was reports of gunmen in every single casino and hotel. So the official story did not make any sense. And then what do, guys? They seal up the documents for 75 years if they can, right? So when things don't make sense, they don't make sense. When they make sense, they make sense. JFK did not make sense. They sealed them up. 9/11 did not make sense. They sealed them up. COVID did not make sense. They sealed those up. The Epstein files kind of makes perfect sense because a lot of the information is out there. That shit was going on in the 80s and the 90s, man. And it's like they're still sealing it up, hiding it up, slow trickling it out for you as if they're actually giving you something. Even that's a distraction. Even they're using the Epstein files as a little distraction. You get a little bit more. But it's disgusting what we've learned in those files, even what they've given us, man. And the fact that we keep going on pretending like it's... There's some sinister stuff at play at the top of this shit. And you can tell... You could talk yourself out of it for a long time. The quality of life going down. You can say the markets are going to turn around. The politicians are trying their best. He inherited a bad economy. This and that. It's like, man, I've been long enough to know. These guys are lying, okay? And this is probably the last thing I'm going to say. I'm going to get out of here. 28 minutes. That's pretty good. Okay, Candace Owens, she's worth like 10 million. Her hubby's worth like 200 million. Tucker Carlson, he's worth like 100 million. Shapiro's worth like 55 million. Ben Shapiro. Erika Kirk's like 2 million. I think 14 million after Kirk died. Charlie Kirk died, maybe. Matt Walsh is worth 5 million. Dougie Ford is like over 10 million. Megyn Kelly is worth 50 million. Piers Morgan is worth 50 million. He just like broke his hip. Hopefully that guy heals up, you know. Peace and blessings to everybody. Seth Dillon, he's worth 5 to 7 million. Joe Rogan, he's worth, I got 220 million, probably even more than that. Benny Johnson, he's worth 5 million. Kyle Kowalski, he's worth 3 million. Dave Rubin, he's worth 12 million. Tim Pool, he's worth 5 million. Cenk Uygur, he's worth 10 million. Steven Crowder, he's worth 20 million. Sam Harris, the guy who's gonna make you atheism cool, he's worth 12 million. This is my point. The left and the right, it doesn't matter. They're getting paid. It's like Carlin said, it's a big club and we're not in it, okay? And it's like, we're the poor peasants here. And I swear to God, a lot of these people, it's like, throw Alex Jones in here, they're like in holding patterns, distraction tactics. And now there's like an argument about people who no longer want to do the left-right distraction tactics and actually want to get down to the brass tacks. Like, so you guys are in control of all the policies. Don't have the food poison. Get the shit out of the water. Everyone should be able to afford a home. There's enough wood, trees, space, carpenters. Okay? Everyone could have a home. You know, we want to get to these kind of issues, and it's like they just want to play games, and it's on to the next thing always. I wish they cared about our homes, our water, our food, as much as they care about Greenland and Venezuela and the Ukraine and you know what I'm saying? And J-Lo's worth $400 million and Leonardo DiCaprio's worth $300 million. They just like entertain you, you know? And Trudeau's worth $40 million probably. Katy Perry's worth $400 million. And Andrew Tate, he's worth like $5 to $12 million. And I'm not even a big fan of Andrew Tate. I don't like people who do shady ass immoral things. Like, you're going to be on camera and admit that you're going to make women fall in love with you because they probably want your attention because you got a lot of money and a lot of lifestyle and all this shit. And you're going to, like, make them fall in love with you. He says, so that then they're not going to, the higher percentage that they're going to say yes when he tries to get them to do whatever. So he makes a bunch of money on people doing the webcam shit. And I'm against all of that shit, man. So, not even a big fan of the guy. So, not even a big fan of any of these people, man. Not really impressed, guys, with how Canada's going. The lack of backbone from the Canadian people. The ostrich sticking your head in the sand style. And I get it, man. It's like, it's whatever, but I'm not going to get into it, but not impressed with our performance here. And there ain't going to be no country. And my prediction is it's not getting better. It's going to be just like the UK. So people are going to be getting thrown in jail for tweets. There's going to be all the people with money who see this coming, they left. There's been the biggest mass exodus of Canadians ever. Okay, so they're already gone. A lot of them. You know, they had the money and they seen it coming, right? There's going to be a lot of people who don't even see this coming. Okay? It's going to get worse. The crime's going to get worse. They lied to you about the bail. They didn't fix the bail. All this shit's going to get worse. And it's going to be just like the UK. The people who get angry and try to stand up. The Canadian flag is going to be a hate symbol. You're going to get thrown in jail if you show support with some of these like groups that are going to be coming up who are going to try to fight to try to keep Canada or get Canada to how it was going. You know, a once great country. People are going to try to fight for that. You know, they're going to use terrorist laws to be like, yo, you guys are terrorists and you're promoting hate against Muslims and everything. Nick Shirley, like, guys, these algorithms push who they want to push. Like, they want you to be pissed that, like, Americans, they want Americans to be mad that Somalians are in Minnesota scamming your taxpayer shit, and you should be, but there's, like, everyone's scamming the taxpayer shit, but it's like, they pick and choose when they hit you with, like, 24 nonstop coverage of a topic. For instance, like, if they want you to hit the streets and have race protest riots, they'll show George Floyd getting choked out by that guy, whatever the fuck his name was, pardon my French. I didn't like the way he was kneeling on his neck. So I'm not the guy who's gonna say like, yo, George Floyd died of a fentanyl overdose, and then the other guy's gonna be like, actually that's racist and that other white guy killed him. I'm like, I don't like the way he was on his neck, so much weight on just his neck, and apparently he was overdosing as well. So see how they just want us fighting about everything? So if they want you distracted about, you know, don't think about the pedophiles who run this shit. Don't think about how Trump did a 180, how he was going to talk about freedom and all this shit. Holding Fauci to account, holding all these people to account, Epstein, all these dirty, sleazy guys. Well, Epstein is dead, right? But you know what I'm saying? And then he just does a whole 180 and basically Benjamin Netanyahu is the president of the United States of Israel. So they do anything Israel wants. So it's crazy. And it's like, dude, the only reason they have Russia and Ukraine in an active war for this long is because they want a world war to pop off. You know how disgusting that is? There's no other reason you'd send Boris Johnson from the UK over to the Ukraine to stop the peace talks, okay? They don't want peace between Russia and Ukraine. They're never going to have peace between Israel and the Palestinians. The ceasefires are a joke. They always are. We're going to go for regime change in Iran. They've wanted regime change in Iran since the 90s, maybe the late 80s. I don't even know. They always get what they want. They've gotten all the countries they've got so far. Iran's like the last one, or the last big one. Certainly the last big one. So, yeah, it's been the plan all along, guys. It's non-stop wars. It's non-stop getting rich off the wars. It's non-stop lying to you. It's non-stop gaslighting. And when you start figuring out that they mess you over with the 2008 crisis and they mess you over with the COVID shit and they always bail out the big guys, it's like when you start getting angry about that and you can't even afford groceries or and all this stuff, they're going to read the situation, and I think the situation right now is clearly like they don't give a shit. It's not going to be fixed. They're going to flood your country with the third world, and it's full blown ahead with these wars, baby, and they're going to ethnically cleanse Palestine. Charlie Kirk knew it. Everyone knows it. They lie to you on the TV. They've been wanting to ethnically cleanse it forever. They knew Charlie Kirk was going to be pissed about that. They knew Charlie Kirk wasn't going to be down with Iran. They knew Charlie Kirk was starting to get pissed off about all the Jewish donors telling him what to do and telling him what he can't say and being their little lapdog. So they killed him. This shit is obvious. It could not be like any more obvious. So it's like, that's why shit feels chaotic to me, man. It's like, it doesn't feel nice out there. People ain't driving friendly. It doesn't feel friendly out there. Maybe I'm projecting. It's like, it's not like I'm surprised when people are nice to me, but because most people are nice most of the time, as you guys know. Like, most people are well-meaning and trying to be nice. But at the same time, most people are weak. So it's like, when you catch them in like face-to-face confrontations, like you got your card at the grocery store and they got their card, you're like, oh yeah, why don't you go ahead? It's like, why don't you go ahead? Please, after you. Why, thank you. I will take this opportunity to go ahead. Thank you very much. You're like, no problem. You have a good night. Yeah, you too. Peace out. But if I catch you at the stop sign or at the four-way stop sign, you're fucking racing to get there. And I'm like, yeah, go ahead, buddy. And I might give you a look. You're like, you got the finger coming real quick. You know what I'm saying? So, also, when you're driving, your nervous system is crazy. I got a theory on that. I'm not going to get into that. Your nervous system's crazy. You're going in a metal box. We don't appreciate how fast we're going in these boxes and the violence that could happen with the car crashes. But your body knows. Although you can also turn your mind off. It's like second nature type shit. But the world is crazy. These guys with money taking advantage. It's almost like they got so much money and now they just want to play with shit. They want to see what they can get you to do. Can we shut down the world? Can we, can we do whatever we want? We don't own the media, but if you say we own the media, we're going to turn off your social media. Okay. We don't own all the banks, but if you criticize us, we're going to debank you. Okay. We don't want all these crazy wars, but like every time an attack happens or something happens, they're pushing for the wars all in the Middle East, all around Israel. They want all those countries to be destabilized. It's like, okay. And it's been going on for like 20, 30 years. So there's going to be a lot of people just kind of coming out of their little flower right now, like, oh, the government doesn't care about us. The quality of life is going down. It's not getting better. And then there's going to be a lot of coping going on. So my advice, I don't know where you're at. All my energy is basically spent trying to not be stressed about this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'll watch the news. I'll read some articles. I'll do some research. I'll make some YouTube videos. And then if I get overwhelmed, if it's too much, if too much is hitting me, my mental health, my well-being is more important. So I chill out and I stop watching the news day to day, and it helps me. And I focus on other things. stretching, hydration, sleep. How important is sleep? Sleep is so important. So it's like, at the same time, there's evil motherfuckers running this shit, and if we don't stand up and change this shit politically, well, there ain't gonna be no country. So I don't know what to tell you. All I know is I'm gonna be doing this, and this video was alright. I think I was for the first 20 minutes. I was nervous. I settled into it, but yeah, that's what I wanted to hit. That's where I've been. That's why I haven't been watching the news. That's why I've just been uploading speeches and whatever else I've been doing. The rosary and the speech from Animal Farm, and I'm blanking on what else, but that's all for the video, guys. Alright, so I'm gonna be watching the news. I don't even have to watch the news. I read Alice in Wonderland. That's another thing I'll do. You know what I mean? I'll read that. But I'll keep reading some books. I'll keep checking on my history. I'll keep listening to the smart people who can analyze these geopolitics. I'll pull off when I can't handle it anymore. And guys, I'm so deep into this that I don't listen to people who even bring me anxiety. So anyone who like is hyping up like, oh my god, they're doing this and they're doing that, I'm like, I don't even know who those guys are because I don't listen to them. Stay safe out there. Stay calm out there. Okay? You're in for a bumpy frickin' ride, but don't be naive. Okay? Don't be naive, okay? Like, and every year it's gonna get worse, man. Like, every year there's more percentage your car is gonna get broken into when you're in the city. Every year the percentage where, depending on where you live, like the home invasion chance goes up, you know? Like, all of this goes up, man. Some guy just died, got beat up over a parking lot. His skull was caved in. His spine was like disconnected, so he got brutalized by some allegedly some immigrant from Somalia, from Africa. So, and there's violence other ways too. It's like the media, if they want you to hate white people, they're only going to talk about when a white person kills a black person. Okay, it's like everyone wants to get along. Everyone wants to have a family, enough money, just like a comfortable way of life. That's what we all want. We're being denied that. We're being gaslit. We're being divided. And we need to come together. So, anyway, thanks for listening. Have a good night. My name is Mark Kraft. My name is Peter Mansbridge, and that's been the news.